Mr. Mike.
Number 4 is the selection process for on-call traffic engineering services, and really 5 and 6 also tied to 4, but you have the action item summary. This is a discussion item, but we do need some direction, and here's why. On a 3-year basis, we review all of the contractual services that we provide. So if you remember last year, finance administration, we did independent financial advisor, bond counsel, land use. We've done the auditor in the past, which I think was 2 years ago. 3 years ago would have been traffic or transportation engineering services. So we're up to the end of their contract. And so it's time to look at those services. They have generated a lot of discussion within the City Council, transportation engineering and transportation engineering services. What I'm proposing in 4 is to do a request for qualifications. Those who've gone through the process as we've selected consultants in the past know that we send out an RFQ package. We tend to get 5 to 10 people that reply. From that 5 to 10, we typically interview 4 or 5. From the 4 or 5, we try to get it down to 1 or 2. And then with the 2 best, we ask them to then submit costs in terms of hourly rates. And then based on that, and then there's a discussion with the selection committee, we make a recommendation to the appropriate committee that then goes to the City Council. And all of those processes, we include 1 or 2 council members, 1 person from outside of the organization, typically from the city, Prairie Village, Merriam, Overland Park, Olathe, Shawnee. I think those are 5 cities that I know we've used in the last 3 years. So we try to bring a professional that's familiar with this particular area, in particular with some of the firms, so that we also get another opinion as to the selection of the firm. One of the questions that I've received in the last couple days as it relates to 5 and 6 is, if you're selecting a traffic engineer in number 4, couldn't that firm simply be the one that we hire to do 5 and 6? And the answer is yes. But my concern was, if I get to 4 and we get stopped and we don't come up with the process or I don't move forward, I still have these projects that I have to get done. And the components that are necessary to get those projects done for Nall is the engineering is done for the most part, so we're left with construction. And with Johnson Drive, I need to get design started. In the action item summary, it talks about I have to give KDOT 24 months, 27 months, I think, is their actual requirement. From the moment that I hand them final design plans, they can take up to 24 to 27 months to review and certify and send them back to the city. And that's a requirement of the STP and bridge money that's included. And that's one of the caveats that you have when you're working with KDOT using that money. So I would like to get started with Johnson Drive design as soon as possible. I think the discussion as relates to Johnson Drive, the street, given the opinions that I've seen on the surveys and what people shared with me, I think the concerns that are in the Johnson Drive corridor aren't really with the street design, because it's 4-lane. It does have some median, and there is some discussion of whether or not we really want the median on the western portion of Johnson Drive. Parking all remains the way it is now, and it's about, you know, if you narrowed some of those widths and you had a fixed width in terms of the street pavement, what could you gain in sidewalks? And that STP money is meant for reconstruction. It's not meant for mill and overlay. This is classified as a road capacity project. This is also a road, Johnson Drive, that received CARS money, and it also has some of that safety loop money, that 1.2 million that we can attach. We might do that on Martway, where that bridge crosses Martway and Woodson. If there's ways we can fit it in on Johnson Drive, we would certainly try to do that. So if you put together 2.3 million from Mark and KDOT, 1.5 from CARS, and we're betting on getting another $500,000 in CARS funding, another 1.2 million in safety loop money. You know, we have enough money to actually fund that project from outside sources. So the trick is to get to design soon enough so that we don't get stopped by KDOT in their 2-year period, and so that we can actually start construction in 2013. It seems a long way away, but it actually gets here fairly quickly when you walk through this process. So the question is this: do we want to do number 4 and go through a process in which we look for transportation engineering services using a process that we use for bond counsel, auditors, financial advisor, land use attorneys, or we want to bid it competitively for the components. The component for Nall would be construction inspection, and the component on Johnson Drive would be design. And really there's two pieces to every project, design and then construction inspection.
So if we agree to number 4, we do not need to worry about number 5 and 6, because that'll be taken care of.
But you have to know that we're then going to be negotiating with whoever we pick in 4 to do 5 and 6 rather quickly.
And this is nothing except the discussion, except they need a little direction.
Right.
So comments, questions?
I looked at your 2 timelines. Looks like you're making a number 4. We'll make a recommendation if everything goes as scheduled, February 16th of 2011.
Right.
And as you look at the construction for Nall, you're saying City Council considers this would be considering the scope and fees by December 15th, not the design. So you would bid this separately, is that what you're saying?
I could bid it separately, but I could extend that to February because I won't have construction start until March or April.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay. Feedback? They need a direction.
We've always had, in recent times, we've always had a transportation engineer. I think that it's appropriate to send that out competitively, make sure that we have the one we want to continue for the next 3 years. If not, let's pick a new one, and let's stay with it, and let's keep going.
And you're saying then just to do number 4, and let number 4 take care of 5 and 6?
I think, yes.
Okay.
And then the only other thing that I would ask is what council members want to participate in the selection.
Okay, let's make sure the committee is
I agree. I think that, we have a lot of specialty consults on our staff that we utilize, and I'd like to go ahead and go with number 4.
Okay. Well,
and then could we also include some people either from Johnson Drive or the Downtown Visioning Committee
I think you should.
on the panel to pick? Because the first project that they would design would be Johnson Drive.
Well, transportation engineers are going to deal with everything within our city. Obviously, the most visible and most important one is Johnson Drive, and I think those stakeholders should have a larger voice in this process.
Well,
I just like to see the most cost-effective route done in order to get Johnson Drive done. I'm just not real excited about, farmers markets and, stuff like that.
okay, but right now we're talking about engineering services, so,
And I'm only on the street.
yeah,
I'm sorry?
we're only on the street.
That's
Doesn't have
The money
anything
you
to
were
do.
talking about would only go for the
for the
street,
street.
nothing else.
Just what you say, you're taking it to design.
The street.
Street.
Well, they can change stuff and a lot of fluffy stuff in there.
Mr. John? Question? Debbie?
Just as long as we, transitions expire, and as far as I'm concerned, that's good. We need to look at somebody else. I've had enough of them,
Okay.
personally.
Debbie?
Although Charlie is with Black and Beach, would it behoove us to have Charlie as a part of this process?
I beg your pardon?
Charlie Seaver?
Unless this firm's bidding on it. Yeah, so, no.
Okay, Dave, do you have any comments? Nope. Okay, Florence?
One more quick question on this. Last month, the city talked about partnership exploration and how we could find better ways to do services. Recently, we've used a consultant for transportation engineers, but if we go down this process for a new 3-year renewal, that doesn't hinder us from maybe looking at an alternative solution other than the consultant. We could still look at partnering with other cities on this,
Correct.
or county, or whoever might want to partner with us.
We could detail that in the RFQ.
Right.
Or, we can still, if the RFQ, if the current contract can be canceled after each year, correct? So we could RFQ this even though it's a 3-year process. If we find a partnership opportunity for 2012, this could only be for 2011.
Right.
Okay, just want to make sure that flexibility was still there for us.
Okay, so then we're in agreement that we will go out for engineering, traffic engineering services. And that will alleviate 5 and 6, because they will take that on. Everybody?
No, we'll get started.
Yeah, I think that's the best
Okay.
process.
That concludes our agenda. Is there anything else for the agenda for tonight? Thank you all
Dinner.
so much. Good meeting. Huh?
Nice work, Madam Chairwoman.
How did you?
Stay out of her way.
Well, we met for half the day.
Every day went through a lot of these.
A little bit wider.
A lot of changes.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hi, Susie.
I just wish the Tigers would have been put to bed.
I was gonna come
Oh,
bring
I
a
was
chicken
cheering
soup,
for him.
but then I
cheering
didn't
for
wanna
him
get
big.
the flu.
Time to get another game.